My friends, good morning. Some of you, good afternoon. Some, good evening. This webinar, we are sharing the wonderful experience of last 40 years. We are going to talk about a remedy, which is a Friday night remedy, which is a Saturday night remedy. This remedy has got lots of details and it touches some of the very important part of our life. It's a remedy which goes deep down to the genetic level. It shares something which is very deep. The pattern which we are going to follow, we are going to start with a case. We understand the complete evolution of a remedy. Once we understand the evolution, we will be taking up more cases. We'll be deciding the potency, the repetition, the dosage, the control, and the complete follow-up of a remedy. Because if we get the remedy, the next step is potency, repetition, and management. Management is equally important. Certain dosage which we have to control, certain repetition which we have to control, and you will see in these cases, you will be able to understand the finer aspects of Medorrhinum. In the end, we will have summary exactly what prescription we have to give, what are the symptoms we have to look for, and how do you differentiate different medicines which are coming up in a case. So it is very important that we take this up very seriously. And lastly, whatever you will learn from this presentation, you will be able to apply to the practice from day one. There is nothing which will prevent, and I can assure you this webinar will give you at least 20 to 30 patients who will get relieved with the correct medicines. Now, what is the most important part of this remedy? It's a remedy of night. A remedy would like to party. These are the children, these are the young boys and girls. You find them in Saturday or Friday night. You see them going out, dancing, partying, and enjoying the life. And these are the boys and girls who have a tremendous desire to enjoy, to do what is forbidden. If you say no, the remedy says yes. If the father says no, the remedy says yes. So here we have the first case, a very interesting case. Now this young boy of 21, he was working in a shoe shop and there was a major problem. Now most of the shoe shops have got the boys and there are hardly any girls. So when this boy reported, he had a huge swelling on the right side. The right side of the chest or the breast was so swollen that it was very visible to anybody. So he would cover himself properly with two shirts, three shirts, even sometimes four shirts, even in so much of heat, so that nobody can see the swelling on the chest. And this was a major issue. And young boys are young boys. So other salesmen, whenever they are passing, they would press his chest and run away. It was very embarrassing for him. Very, very embarrassing. He felt very bad. He felt that there is something wrong with him, and that is why he was facing a major problem. Now, how would this swelling respond? It would be painful. The pain would get aggravated by movement. Even the slightest of the movement would give pain, weightlifting, and the change of position, ameliorated by heart pressure and lying on the affected side. The remedy is bryonia. All of us think of remedy as a bryonia. Now we go to the few more symptoms. He was also suffering from bronchial asthma. Respiratory rate was very high, 38 per minute, which was ameliorated by race. Again, it goes close to bryonia, but we study more symptoms. Perspiration profuse, sleep disturbed. He required the fan always and never covered himself. Mark desired for ice cream. He had tremendous desire for cold things, for ice creams, for different requirements. It was very, very important for him. He was very short tempered, angered by contradiction, and was very scared of his father. Next point is very important, very religious, and believed in a God. On examination, weight was 50 kgs, teeth irregular, swelling right side of the chest, quite a big one. Now, if you see on repetization, there are few remedies which are coming up, and to our surprise, the remedy which came up was Medorrhinum. Now, if you understand that Medorrhinum is a very deep acting remedy, it is a psychotic remedy, and the most important thing, it is a remedy which has got growth. In this particular case, there was a big growth. There was a big, big swelling. And if you compare the remedies which came up, which covered all the symptoms, was veratrum, medorrhinum, and arsenic. Arsenic is chili, and this doesn't have the temperament of veratrum. And if you put a filter, a hot filter, on the repetization, once you're done, the first remedy which comes in the list is Medorrhinum. Now, it is very, very important what potency you give, how much repetition. The patient's sensitivity is very high, but it's a slow growing gynecomastia. So that means the vitality is low, sensitivity is high. You cannot give very low potency, you cannot give very high potency. So the patient was given Medorrhinum 31 dose every night. Within 3 months, the complete gynecomastia subsided. He was able to face everybody. He would go with open buttons, and remedy acted so deep that even the asthma completely disappeared. So what is the learning? Learning is understanding the circumstances and the symptoms of the patient and prescribing the remedy on this basis. Selection of the characteristic symptoms are the rubric for repetization. So this is how you will come to a very interesting. Now we will understand the remedy and its evolution right from the beginning till today. How beautifully a remedy can evolve with the help of a complete evolutionary Medorrhinum, and that is what is Materia Medica Live. Materia Medica Live is nothing but bringing the remedy alive in front of our eyes.
Medorrhinum is a remedy which is predominantly indicated for the people who are very comfortable at night. They are happy, exhilarated, and excited as the evening sets in. It is a very important remedy for people who are very passionate and loving. They have a strong desire for love and affection. is indicated in behavioral problems of children. Children who are rude and aggressive, who throw temper tantrums.
Who fight with other children, especially during the day, and who can kick and strike their parents or relatives, can be Medorrhinum.
At night, these children become very playful, comfortable, and affectionate. Such a behavior can be expressed by the phrase, cross by day, merry by night. It is one of the important remedies where there is a history of gonorrhea in parents or patient in the past. The other causative factor is anticipation. Anticipating the sickness brings on the trouble and also thinking of the complaints. Plus 3.
Understand this, that they are very, very passionate people and their clairvoyance is very high. And because the clairvoyance is very, very high, they are not able to control their feelings and emotions. That is why they they see the event coming up and they cannot control it. They can read it. It's very, very important.
The capacity to perceive intuitive feelings, and this intuition usually comes true. On many occasions, they can predict accidents, natural calamities, or results of exams. And in reality, it actually works out to be true.
The other extreme of love, that is hate, is a much stronger feeling in Medorrhinum.
Are you able to understand this? The clairvoyance is so high that they are able to see the result. They are able to predict the calamities. And these calamities are very, very easily available to them. Like Netram, they have extremes of emotions of love and emotions of hate. And the hate emotions are much stronger than the love one's attempts.
Calamities or results of exams. And in reality, it actually works out to be true.
The other extreme of love, that is hate, is a much stronger feeling in Medorrhinum. A child who is getting A grade in school suddenly starts getting F.
Just understand, the child who used to stand first in the class fails, gets F grade. The child which used to get the highest mark in mathematics and he failed in mathematics, he used to stand first. He used to stand first in the class and he fails in all the exams. He was a great sportsman and suddenly he he loses the match in the first round. Now this is Medorrhinum. And what is the cause behind that? The most important cause behind that is the shock. If you understand the shock, you will be able to understand Medorrhinum very easily because the shock goes deep down to the genetic level. We'll be taking up the cases, taking up the emotions, we'll be taking up the causes in the cases why the disease developed. And if you find out the right cause, you'll be able to always find the right remedy.
Starts hating them from the depth of his heart. A child who had tremendous attachment to animals, the other remedies are Accusa, Mufar luteum, starts hating them.
Now understand this. The child which loves the animals picks up the dogs. I'll just share with you some very interesting cases. We had a leading actress who would pick up the puppies and cats and dogs and everything and bring them home. Her house was filled with more than 100 animals. Now that is Medorrhinum, that is carcinosin, that is Ethusa, that is Nufar luteum. Nufar luteum is one of the rare remedies. But carcinosin, Ethusa and Medorrhinum are the remedies. Now this particular actress's husband was also a leading actor left her finally, saying that you love animals so much. When do you have time for me? That is typical Medorrhinum. That is typical carcinosin. But how do you differentiate between carcinosin and Medorrhinum? Medorrhinum will start hating suddenly. Medorrhinum patient who was loving the animals will suddenly leave this passion, and that is Medorrhinum. Carcinosin will go out of the way. Carcinosin will pick up orphans, will pick up so many street dogs, cats, animals at the cost of anything, at the cost of his or her health. That is carcinosin. And the third thing, which is very, very important, is Ethusa. In Ethusa, the most important thing is they have tremendous fear of exams, fear of performance, which is very, very great, and they get confused during the exam. So if you ask the history, this is how you will
with
differentiate.
animals, especially rats, mice, etc. The other remedies are Tarantula anacardium, moschus. All these remedies are very cruel towards animals. In Tarantula, you will find violence with physical illness and mobility. In anacardium, you will find two wills and confusion to understand what is right and what is wrong. While in moschus, you will find a lot of sexual excitement and violence of the last.
So when you go to the other extreme, the extreme of hate, now which are the remedies which have got hatred towards animals? The first in the list is tarantula, which will purposely irritate animals, which will purposely go and trouble the animals. You know, even if the dog is sleeping, will go and press the tail. They get lot of pleasure. They catch lizard with a thread and hang it in front of door of people's house. That is tarantula. Tarantula derives pleasure while doing so. Now we go to anacardium. At this stage, I would like to share a very beautiful case of anacardium. I used to give a seminar in Greece. There was a nephrologist who was brought to me, and this nephrologist was suffering from renal failure. It was a very pitiable condition. A nephrologist who helped the people to survive from kidney diseases. He himself was suffering from a complete renal failure. So when we took the history, very interesting fact came up. The Greece as a country is full of cats. You will find lot of cats roaming in the street. This nephrologist would catch a cat, throw it in the furnace live. Just imagine a doctor who is supposed to take care of the patient,
Medorrhinum is
supposed
a remedy
to take care of
which is
giving life
predominantly
to
indicated
people.
for the
He
people who
would
are very
throw
comforted at night.
the life
They are happy,
in
exhilarated,
the
and
furnace, and then he would
excited
clap,
as the evening sets
enjoy,
in.
and that is like
It is a very important
dual
remedy for
personality,
people who are very
and that
passionate
is
and loving.
anacardium.
They have a strong desire for
Anacardium. Those
love
who have
and
seen
affection.
Dr. No,
It is indicated
Jekyll
in
and Hyde,
behavioral problems of
that
children.
means the person
Children
has
who are
two
rude and aggressive,
personalities.
who throw temper
The person
tantrums.
is really very good in one moment and is absolutely extreme in other moment. You'll be able to understand anacardium. And moschus is a wonderful remedy. Moschus goes deep down to the childhood, goes deep down to your bringing up, your value system. And moschus has got tremendous desire for sex. Tremendous. These are the girls who dance. These are the striptease. These are the people who would like to have. And they hate pregnancy. They hate pregnancy. They hate Even the periods, they hate periods because they cannot have sex during the periods. So Moschus is something which is very, very deep.
Moschus becomes an important remedy for sexual perversions and nymphomania, starting at a very early age of life.
The child who was polite, soft, passionate, and lovable turns into a devil. He gets a strong urge to bite, kick, hit, strike. He is rude and aggressive. He develops an inner hardness, which is very deep, making it very difficult to handle these children. The hardness is both external and internal. They are not at all sensitive to the external stimuli. All his performances become erratic.
Who fight with other children,
Friends, understand
especially
this
during the day,
very
and who can
clearly.
kick and strike their parents or
With the
relatives,
behavioral
can be
problem, there is a
Medorrhinum.
major
At
shift which
night,
is happening.
these children become very
The
playful,
shock makes them
comfortable,
hard,
and
makes them
affectionate. Such a
cruel,
behavior can be expressed
makes
by the
them
phrase,
suffer.
cross by day, merry
And
by
the
night.
hardness is
It is one
not
of the important
only external. Hardness is not at the physical level, but it is also at the emotional level. It is also at the very deep down emotions are hurt. In this particular case, which we discussed about gynecomastia, the tumor is hard. Which are the other remedies for hard tumor? They are Punayam, Phytolacca,
remedies where there is a history of gonorrhea in
and one of
parents
them
or
is
patient
Medorrhinum.
in the past.
And once they are so sensitive, so wonderfully performing, suddenly their performance becomes erratic. And this erratic performance is a very, very important aspect of Medorrhinum. A child which was so good he becomes not responding to the things.
These children love whatever is forbidden. If you tell them not to do certain things, they are the first people to go and do it. This quality is similar to tarantula. This is what makes them courageous and brave.
Adam was told to not to eat apple. He ate the apple and the world changed. And Medorrhinum always prefers to do what is forbidden.
But in tarantula, they have no soft corner for anything. They can lie with so much confidence that the other person starts believing it as the truth. For example, if he was given some money, he will not return the balance amount. He will spend it on himself. On being asked the details, he will say that maybe the balance money fell from his pocket. If you point out the chocolate marks around his mouth, then he will have an explanation that this chocolate was given by a friend. He will never commit the truth, even in the worst of circumstances.
While in Medorrhinum, the child starts with a lie, but does not know how to finish. So he gets caught halfway through. He starts fumbling and doesn't have the same confidence as the tarantula child.
Understand this, the difference between tarantula and Medorrhinum. Medorrhinum will not, while tarantula, if you catch him doing a mistake, he will say that I have not done it. Somebody else gave me as a gift. You can never catch tarantula red-handed. It's very difficult. But Venom, he'll be caught very easily. Both of them speak lie. Veratrum speak lie. Opium speak lie. Medorrhinum speaks lie. Tarantula speaks lie. Out of them, the worst is Medorrhinum because it gets caught.
He wants to experience everything. He wants to try out new things in life. He likes to go out with girls for parties, discotheques, etc. These are the young children you will find moving around in the streets or discotheques late at night. They always love to do what is forbidden. If father says, come back at 10 p.m., they will come back at 2 a.m. in the morning. They will sneak out of the house once the parents have gone to sleep. They smoke, drink, and they have a sexual relationship at a very young age.
See, understand this. They are the party animals, like Moscus, like Platina. But Platina will have a lot of arrogance, like Palladium. But Palladium will think that they are very beautiful. But in Moscus, they would like to have sex all the time. But here in Medorrhinum, they will take all the liberties. They will drink, smoke, and go for all the fun of life. But what is the next level? Never get married.
Millions. That is why the idea of marriage seems unendurable. They are the people who remain unmarried till very late in life, even though they may have many boyfriends or girlfriends.
Definitely an extremist. They are cruel and violent towards people, to their own children, and towards animals. Here the similarity is to Lycopodium and Sapien. Both do not like their children.
In many young boys and girls, or men and women, they will have many friends. They will be enjoying. They will be doing partying all the time. But they would not like to get married. They would like to remain without getting married for a very, very long time. So, when you get a patient who is not married for many, many years and he commits that, yes, I have many girlfriends or boyfriends, that is where you think of Medorrhinum. Medorrhinum becomes one of the most important remedy for the same. There is a beautiful question. Can you explain the psychotic miasm with Medorrhinum and how to assess this in the children and teens? See, psychotic miasm is nothing but at the mental level, it is a slowness, confusion, and they are not able to understand the difference between what is right and wrong. A confused state of person will be never be able to decide what is right or wrong. So for a teenager, it is not good to go out every day, every time. They have to understand. They have to understand the discipline. They have to understand the value system. So when they do anything which is forbidden, also the second aspect that are very slow. Even at physical level, they are slow to respond, slow to react. Even the infections in Medorrhinum grows very slowly. The glands grows very slowly. The growth is very slow. And at the physical level, it becomes a very important remedy for cons, callosities. We'll be taking up this in the cases. And when they go from childhood also to the old age, the most important reason for which they develop the disease is the shock. Please understand that in Medorrhinum, one of the most important reasons for developing the disease is shock. Very interesting question. Why Meadow marries late? Is it to avoid responsibility? Yes. It is one of the most important remedy
Cup.
for
Even
avoiding
though
the
they may have
responsibility
many
of
boyfriends
life.
or girlfriends.
Just like
Medorrhinum
lycopodium.
eminently an extremist. They are cruel and violent towards people, to their own children, and towards animals. Here the similarity is to Lycopodium and Sapien. Both do not like their children. But in Lycopodium, they don't like children because they don't like to take up responsibility. So they remain unmarried. They have anticipations about sexual performance and duties that will be thrust upon them.
Sepia has aversion to children and has aversion to male members and sex. Along with aggression, other extreme responses like shyness is also quite obvious.
Now, What's the similarity between Lycopodium and Medorrhinum? Both Lycopodium and Medorrhinum marry late, but Lycopodium wants to avoid because he cannot take up responsibility. Lycopodium has got initial anxiety of performance. The Lycopodium thinks that he is not able to perform. He will not be able to perform. While Medorrhinum, it is totally different. There is a lack of responsibility, but along with that, there is a tremendous desire for sex and has many girlfriends and boyfriends. Same way is the sepia. Doesn't want to take up responsibility, but has got a tremendous aversion for sex. Lycopodium girl or even Medorrhinum girl is fully grown. She is beautiful, but the sepia is flat chested. The breasts have not developed. This is how you defeat. And the sepia girl sits with a crossed leg because there is a bearing down sensation. There is a sensation as if something will come out. And patients say, patient when they come in front of you, will always sit with crossed leg, and that is sepia. And sepia has got marked discharge, leukorrhea. Very strong leukorrhea is a symptom of sepia. Please understand this. This is how you differentiate the closely related remedies.
Pronounce that they are not able to speak during an interview.
They are very self-centered and hard-hearted, and they don't have connection with people around them. At times, they are very crude and violent.
So you will see that extreme. They get
Medorrhinum is
violent,
one of the important
they're
remedies for
very
mental
crude,
retardation.
and they do not respond to the things around them. We go to the second aspect of Medorrhinum.
Medorrhinum is one of the important remedies for mental retardation and poor reaction. They catch infections easily.
And it is a very important remedy for infections with glands, with number of other problems.
Progress slowly and steadily. They remain for a longer duration and take a lot of time to resolve. The infection can act as a shock to the system and may have long-lasting effects. At the physical level, they have enlarged lymph nodes. The child is very sensitive and emotional. She loves all beautiful things in nature and takes care of them.
Understand this. Medorrhinum is a lover of nature, loves natural things, loves flowers, loves animals. But the most important thing is the shock.
Act of the parents. It could be some kind of hatred, jealousy, negligence, and abuse from parents or relatives. This goes very deep into their systems, and the child totally withdraws from the parents.
This withdrawal and hardness can lead to three things. They become excessively religious and start feeling that life is unreal. They develop anxieties.
See, understand, there are three reactions. And well, when we saw in the case of gynecomastia, the patient, because of the disease, because of the suffering, he became very religious. Very important. One of the responses.
Suicidal tendencies. Medorrhinum is an important remedy for suicidal tendency in young adults.
The second response is running away from the reality and committing suicide. And this happens in such a young children, they may develop a shock because of failure in exams, or they have been told by their parents that you have to study, you cannot go out, you cannot enjoy, you cannot have the relationships, and they want to commit suicide. So that is the second response.
Sets in little early in Medorrhinum. They lose their memory for names and words, even to the extent that they have to ask the names of their close friends. They begin a sentence and halfway through they forget what they were going to say.
Or stage, the question which was asked, A beautiful evolution of Medorrhinum and comparing with psychotic miasm. This is the perfect example. They get confused. They lose memory. And see, loss of memory is the first beginning of a psychotic phase. And these young people, they forget in exams. They cannot appear for the exams. They cannot remember anything. And this is so bad. This is so bad that you cannot even imagine. And they were prepared. They are able to answer anything and everything. But as soon as they go for the oral examination, they just fail. And this is what is Medorrhinum.
Time passes too slowly. The other remedies are argentum nitricum and cannabis indica. Recent events appear as if they had occurred years ago.
See, when you are in a confused state, you lose the track of time. The time passes too slowly. Argentum nitricum, full of anxiety. How do you differentiate? Argentum nitricum would like to go and pass urine before going for any event. They have so much of anxiety that even the church bell ringing produces lot of uncomfortability. That is argentum nitricum. And cannabis indica. Cannabis indica is always on holiday and they want to enjoy the life. They are the flirt of the first time. So the most important thing which happens in Medorrhinum is time passes so slowly. Yesterday, if something has happened, they feel that it had happened many, many days back. And that is Medorrhinum. Again, a psychotic response.
The patient is predominantly hurried in nature, a workaholic type who is totally absorbed in his profession. He starts thinking that people are very slow and that people must hurry all the time.
So, another characteristic very close to Lycopodium. Medorrhinum and Lycopodium at certain point run very parallel. Both are workaholic, both want to work a lot, both are absolutely deep down. They are in hurry. Another remedy which wants to hurry is Lilium tigrinum. If you open the repertory and see, if you open the materia medica of Lilium tigrinum, you will see that they are always in hurry. They want to do things fast. And same thing is Lycopodium and same thing is with Medorrhinum. If some work is assigned to them, they want to do it fast. They want it to be completed. They want it to be done. And if you do not do it, they will take it from the hand and do it themselves, which is very, very characteristic of Medorrhinum and Lycopodium. But Lycopodium is very intelligent and performs much better than even Medorrhinum in day-to-day performances.
As a result of excessive activity over a period of time, they get fatigued easily. Right from childhood, they have a fear of the dark, fear that somebody is behind him, and fear of monsters around him. Anxiety that something will happen all the time. Anxiety about imaginary things. Anxiety of losing his fortune. And a fear that he or she will say something wrong. The anxiety is expressed by biting nails of the fingers and toes. It is probably the only remedy where the patient bites his own toenails.
Friends, this is one of the most important characteristic symptoms of Medorrhinum. And I have treated number of cases which has been helped only because of this one symptom, biting of nails. Tremendous desire to bite the nails. Even the child will pick up the toe and bite the toenails. Don't forget this symptom. Suppose if you have two remedies or three remedies coming very close, take this as one of the differentiating features for prescribing Medorrhinum.
Most of the time, when patient is sad with weeping tendency, we think of pulsatilla. But Medorrhinum is a very important remedy where patient cannot express his symptoms without weeping. Weeping ameliorates sadness.
Again, as the disease grows, from confused state, the patient goes into the phase of depression. And lot of times, see, we think of pulsatilla as one of the most weeping remedy. But if you understand, Medorrhinum is also the most important remedy for weeping tendency. It cannot express or narrate the symptoms without weeping. And if you understand this, you'll be able to differentiate. During the interview, the woman or a lady would start weeping halfway, and you can think of Medorrhinum as one of the important remedy. And if you give this at this stage, the depression will clear off in just less than 1 month's time.
The last important symptom is obsession. We always think of remedies like syphilinum for washing hands continuously. Medorrhinum is also an important remedy where patient wants to wash hands repeatedly.
Okay, the fixed ideas. Fixed ideas is again a psychotic expression. And we always think of syphilinum, washing mania. But the most important remedy is Medorrhinum. It has got tremendous desire to wash his or her hand again and again and again.
They get easily exhausted, both at the mental and physical level. Medorrhinum is predominantly hot, always searching for a cause. Even the child that rolls out of the bed and rolls on the ground is in search of a cold spot. They do not like their feet to be covered. Uncovering ameliorates the desire for air conditioning, fast fan, and gets aggravated in the sun. They also have a craving for ice and cold drinks.
General symptoms which are very important, they get exhausted very easily. So psychotic phase travels deeper, deeper and deeper, and there is a marked exhaustion. Now we go to the next case. Now this one case can genuinely share the entire gamut, everything about homeopathy. Everything from homeopathy can be studied from this one case. One case can explain you how a homeopathy can go deep down to the genetic level. In this case, we are going to learn the potency selection, the selection of the rubrics, repetition of the medicine, control of the dosage, and everything. This is one of the rare cases and rare syndrome where the child doesn't survive for very long. It is known as Cornelia de Lange syndrome. When this child was brought to me, it was like a baby monkey, 14 months old child, not responding, not reacting. And if you see his face, his hands, they were totally covered by hair, full of hirsutism. You cannot imagine this child as absolutely underdeveloped. You can see this, look at the face. It was just like a baby monkey. The main complaints, poor weight gain, mental development, zero, no teething, no talking, no walking. And if you see the face and expression, they were like of a baby monkey. Hair growth was 10. Every part of the body was covered with hair. Just one of the later photographs for you to understand. Very bushy eyebrows. Now this prescriptive point of Medorrhinum. Very long eyelashes, small nose, thin and drawn up legs. Even if you see the mustache at this age, it is so strong. This is typical of Medorrhinum. If you understand this case, now I did not get Medorrhinum unless I understood the life situation. This particular child's mother had gone through a lot of tension during the pregnancy. The reason, they belong to a community where the girl had to be given heavy dowry. So when the girls get married, they have to pay a lot of money along with the marriage. The couple had the first child, which was a female child. So she thought, what a big loss in the financial condition. So she wanted a next one, a boy. And when she wanted a boy, she got pregnant second time. Second time she got pregnant. She got the test done. It was a female child. She got it aborted. This particular patient was the third child. So in this third child, she got the amniocentesis done. And when amniocentesis was done, she found that it was a male child. So she continued the pregnancy. Her sleep was very disturbed. She had severe complaints of acidity and vomiting during the pregnancy. She would get up often worried at night, and she would dream that somebody is harming her. See how the emotions during the pregnancy get carried to the next level. And even when we take the history of this child, you'll be able to understand at lot of stages, the child will get up startled. Every thought, everything which you do with the child during the pregnancy is genetically coded down. Understand, if you are happy, your child will be wonderful, happy, dancing, will be mixing around, will be smiling, will be reacting to you positively, will not have any major disease. But see this child, another lot of strength. She felt neglected during pregnancy. There was no cooperation from her husband, no cooperation from the husband. And as I said, she had got the second child aborted because it was a female child. We took the personal history, and very interesting point. Although the child was mentally retarded, the child has tremendous desire for the sweets. The child wanted sweet things. So this was a very characteristic symptom. This cannot be neglected. The child was constipated, was passing stool on alternate day, gets up startled when patted, goes back to sleep. So mother would get up startled, again the child would get up startled. Then the second thing, very important, thermal modality. We cannot neglect this thermal modality. The child used to sweat a lot. Fan is must, air conditioning is a must, covering aversion. So although there was a mental retardation, there were certain symptoms which were characteristic. The general symptoms were craving for sweets, sweating, desire to uncover the body. Birth weight was 2.2 kg, past history of bronchitis, cleft palate which was operated, tongue tie which was operated, and see, there is no major family history. Although there is no family history, the child is born straight into the syphilitic phase, a complete destruction. Diagnosis, corneal Lange syndrome, microcephaly, and congenital anomalies. On examination, flat head, fontanelles open, hair plus 3. Now this cannot be neglected. Hair plus 3. Back and all over body, eyebrows bushy, undescended testes. Now how do we find the symptoms? And under the DSM-4 manual classification, under axis 2 and 3, it was classified with mental retardation. What are the symptoms to be considered? Congenital anomalies, cleft palate, language delayed, growth retardation, no teething, behavioral problems, oversleep and appetite, mental retardation, low birth weight, facial features of like a monkey, hair growth, hirsutism, undescended testes. So we repertorize these symptoms. The symptoms which were considered development arrested, retarded children, hairy. See why I'm sharing this case in more detail so that you get the idea of what symptoms to look for, where to search, where to find them in the repertory. And there are very simple ways of finding them in your repertory. Starting startled, open fontanelles, undescended testes, and constipation. So we gave the first search development arrested, and development arrested. We got the whole list of the remedies. We recorded the symptom. Then retarded children. You record the symptoms. Retarded children. Hairy. This is a very very important symptom. This cannot be missed out. Not everybody is born with so much of hair. He looked like a baby monkey. So hair growth was so high. Then we go for next symptom, desire sweets and startling from the sleep. We recorded the symptom and you see how beautifully. Then open fontanelle, undescended testes, recorded and constipation stool alternate day. When you repertorize, you get a complete picture and here you have the remedies coming up in the repertorization table, final repertorization. And you put just one filter, hot remedies. See, you would like to rule out the chilly remedies. And here are the hot remedies. And then you apply a filter, elimination method saying retarded children, development arrested, hairy, desire for sweets, and startling. You cross this and you come to as the only remedy. See friends, this is how you understand the deeper aspect and come to a remedy. And if your selections of the rubric is right, you will be able to come to the right remedy. And now you go and confirm these symptoms in the materia medica. This will give you double confirmation. We open the materia medica and in materia medica you can compare Medorrhinum from different books. Kent writes beautifully. One of the many uses of this remedy is inherited complaints of children which are deep down. You can see how beautifully Kent has written down. Clark says, Medorrhinum, many cases of stunted growth, arrested development, children due to latent factors. Understand this, the latent factor which is there, the miasm. And unless this factor is screened and taken into consideration for prescribing, no good will be achieved. And what does Harvey Farrington say in Heal Thyself? In the journal, he has written way back in 1934. Just imagine, among the many varied effects of inherited psychotic traits in children, the arrested mental development, stunted physical growth, and marasmus. See a copybook picture which is seen in this case, completely visible. And what does he say further? He says, Lot of pediatricians, lot of physicians, lot of psychiatrists will say that the child cannot go beyond mama, cannot understand anything beyond, will understand this case is given up. This case was same, this Cornelia case was given up by all the pediatricians, by all the consultants. And they said that this is a backward child. It is always the same verdict. Undeveloped brain cells for which nothing can be done. Friends, we come across so many such cases. I'll be sharing with you some of the cases of dwarfism, some of the cases of autism, and they go deep down. Medorrhinum changes the constitutional problems, removes the latent disease, and gives you an excellent child in your hand. The parents will come and thank you. They will always say, what a wonderful experience. Excellent results with a backward children is Medorrhinum. Now this was written down in 1934. As good as 80 years back. If this was the wisdom with our homeopaths, today the technology has changed. We can do much, much better results. Now the question arises, why 30 potency and why 3 doses? What is the reactivity of this patient? Very poor. What is the sensitivity of the patient? Very poor. What is the miasm? Deep down psychotic and syphilitic expressions. So in this, you cannot select a high potency, but you require a frequent repetition. Now, how long will you repeat the medicine? Will you repeat it for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month? We'll see it in the follow-up. Just 1 week. See, the first June medicine was given. 7th June, the child is playful and active, follows the objects and the movements, attempts to get up. Who says homeopathy is slow? Who says homeopathy is slow? Homeopathy, if selected right, it will give you the desired result immediately. 14th, recognizes small objects like mango. If the mango was brought in front of the child would understand. So there was a visual correlation, there was a memory recall that this is something which I need to eat, and it would open the mouth. So now the coordination has begun. The coordination, visual, the motor neuron coordination has begun in this case in 14 days of the medicine. Friends, this is homeopathy. 21st June, the thing which did not happen in 14 months happened in 3 weeks. The tooth erupted. What do you understand? That means your medicine is right. Will you stop repetition? Some of you will always say, now the medicine has started. Stop the repetition. But the patient has still not regressed. Why? Because I will show you the next slide. June end, 30th June, around that period. Turns, recognizes, active, rolls, wants to go out, smiles. When taken out and brought back, sees home and starts crying, recognizes and shows the fingers to out. See, the typical Medorrhinum has come up. Whenever you bring him back home, he recognizes the door and points the finger that he wants to go out. This is very important, desire to go out. Medorrhinum wants to go out, wants to party, wants to enjoy. So same way, the root in this child was very interesting, has shown a desire to go out. And what happens? The next, the extra hair started falling, and that is how you know that medicine has gone deep down to the system. Now you can give placebo and allow the medicines to act. has started falling. That means the disease has regressed to the psychotic level, has gone down from the syphilitic phase. The body has started recognizing, relating, responding. Some later follow-ups, November 93, can mix around, can go out with his friends, can do many things on his own. Just imagine the shift happened, can do many things on his own. Again, the improvement continues, hair fall continues. And believe me, friends, these are all the time the patient was on placebo. Patient was given only for first few weeks the constitutional medicine. 21st April 2001, considerable improvement, overall performance physically and mentally. You can see the child who was not able to do anything is able to walk, improvement mentally, and the child who was given up has evolved up to the mental age of 4.5 years. Now, following improvements were observed: can understand instructions in three languages, English, Gujarati, and Hindi. Understands commands well, recognizes voices of friends, makes an attempt to speak on phone, makes signals and gestures, likes to keep things in order, loves to mix with older people. See, the evolution has developed a good coordination between picture and words. See the improvement. Sleeps well. The getting startle has gone. Sensitive and moody in nature. Loves to listen to music. Can play with beats and rhythms. Can play with others. See how beautiful. A totally given up case. See this happening in your life. It cannot be matched with any of the things on earth. Amazing performance. There is a tremendous desire to travel. Shows the way out of the house. Whenever there is a pit, understands and moves accordingly. So if there is a pit, he understands that he has to wait. He has to pause. Loves cold drinks and McDonald's food. Begs and insists the mother to give such food. So whenever there is a McDonald's, he sees that McDonald's sign and he will tell the family members to stop. So that is why we say jokingly that McDonald's is meant for retarded people. Recognizes good clothes, appreciates with positive gesture. He'll say, wow, what beautiful. So this is the kind of deeper understanding the child has developed. The child who probably could not have survived, he is hale and hearty at the 21 years of age, does all his activities himself, is managing everything on his own. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that interesting? What is the learning? Advanced pathology and genetically affected diseases can also be helped with deep acting homeopathic medicines. Homeopathic medicines allow base potential of the case to be extracted. See, this child was mentally retarded, but whatever was the base possible potential was expressed out thoroughly. Also, suppose if you are a painter, you can become a better painter if you are on homeopathic medicines. If you are a computer programmer, you can become a better computer programmer. You can become a better singer, better dancer, better intellectual person. And we have treated so many cases of ADHD, autism, those who have failed in exams, they score the highest mark in mathematics. This is the strength of homeopathic medicines. A child which could not understand anything can understand in three languages. Isn't it amazing? Importance of search, how to get the right symptoms so that you get the right medicine. And the case, we need to control the right potency with a very careful repetition.